We are live. I think that's how they do it. All right, guys, we are live. It is indeed whiskey time, Butch and James. I'm drinking some Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. This is the B523 batch, which is extremely good and extremely hearty. And so, cheers to everybody. Today's live stream is going to be really awesome. We have some CNCs going to get ran today. Some projects going to get cut out, and it is going to be fantastic. So y'all better hold your shorts. It's going to be good. We're going to be cutting out 4 different projects today. We're going to be introducing a new bit, and hopefully you'll have some questions. Maybe I can show y'all how I program something or ask questions about how we run it. We're going to be running a 1/4 inch bit over 800 inches a minute. We're going to be taking another 1/4 inch bit and cutting 1 1/4 inch in one pass through hardwood. So there's a lot of cool things happening today. That's why I was about a minute late getting all of that stuff ready for you guys. And focus is off again. There's my beautiful face. And hopefully it works. So that's, hopefully all of this works. It's the first time we're ever going live on a CNC, but I am very, very excited, very, very thirsty, and oh, that's so good. And cannot wait to, show y'all guys. And if any of y'all are also drinking some bourbon or tequila or whatever, let me know which one y'all got. Let me know which one you got. Whew. Charlie, I'm going to bring you in. Charlie, are you excited about tonight, man? I'm going to bring you in.
Man, I'm pumped. How are y'all doing? We got some really exciting stuff for you guys.
Yeah.
New announcements, new products, new demos that have not been done before on YouTube.
And we are currently actually getting the CNC ready right here. So you can see everybody getting the CNC ready. And we're about to be cutting out something right there. So that's just a little sneak peek. But so first thing we're going to cut out is a table on there, a little cocktail table that we do from time to time for different events and stuff. And so we're going to be using one of our brand new gold digger bits on it. You can't see, but this is a bit that is meant to cut extremely fast. It's a roughing bit, but we put a nitrate or zirconium nitrate coating on it, so it's going to stay sharp for a very long time. And the video coming out on Saturday, we have this bad boy. It could be pushing over 1,000 inches a minute. Could not be. I don't know. But y'all are about to be impressed. Do you have any questions coming from anyone today? Somebody's hitting the Knob Creek 9-year this evening. Nice. That was I almost picked that. It's on the shelf in the office.
1,000 inches per minute. How much is that over what it's rated for? Just to show that it can do it.
So you know what, so based on like the chip load calculator, it's saying that, and I'll briefly, because I showed it, I think, later on in the thing. Let me see if I can, I'm just going to share my screen real quick and talk. Boom. So, So based on the chip load calculator, we're going to be cutting into plywood today with that 1/4 inch bit 3 flute. And I'm going to be doing a pass of 0.35 deep at a time. And it says we should run it at 600 to 700 inches a minute because it's 3 flutes. And we're going to be running it at 800 inches a minute, cutting that thing out. So we're going to be a little bit over, but it will reach that speed. And that's what the chip load calculator tells me to do, because we are cutting like a softer plywood. But whenever I cut that hardwood later, which we'll talk about, my pass step is going to be 1 1/4 inch. And it's saying don't do it. So that's kind of like out of the question. So these feed rates don't matter because it lights up red. But we're going to be running that extremely fast as well. And hopefully get some stuff cut out.
Show the capability, right?
Yeah, it's just to show the capability of the bit. show everybody how it works. And, you know, it's going to be pretty good. It's going to be pretty good. I am not drinking Tullamore Dew whiskey yet. I'm not drinking their Tullamore Dew Irish whiskey. I have not found it in around these parts. So David had a good question. So what are your thoughts on flat pack furniture? Too easy for large company to produce and stay competitive. It depends on what you're producing, right? Like if you have a story behind your flat pack furniture, like maybe you're, there's this one guy out of New York, he's a designer, and he creates all of his flat pack furniture from one sheet of plywood. And so his whole thing is there's zero waste flat pack furniture. And he sells it for like $600 a set. And it's like a sofa or a lounge chair or something like that. And he makes a killing out of it. And so that is, you know, one way to do it where you tell some kind of a story. But it just kind of depends what it is. I mean, like this cocktail table that we're making tonight, you know, we've sold sets of these, like we're not making them to sell, but we've sold about 20 of them to different people that are looking at different people that are wanting these for shows and events. And then like they put a vinyl wrap on top. And so it just kind of depends what you're doing. But like this cocktail table tonight will be a good example of like something easy that you can make. That's pretty simple. So yeah, hope that answers that question, David. And actually, Charlie, you have that question you asked me earlier about why, when you have why not run like a long flute length all the time on stuff? Why run shorter flute lengths, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And so Charlie asked a good question. He says, you know, we have the Golden Boy, which is like a 1 inch cutting length, and then we have the Golden Boy XL, which is an inch and a half cutting length. And so he was asking me, like, why don't we just run the 1.5 inch bit, like, or why even have the 1.5 inch bit? And so the 1.5 inch one is going to be for cutting through thick stuff, but the 1 inch one is going to be for pocketing. And my experience on CNCs, you want the shortest flute length possible because it has the most rigidity and the least amount of deflection. And so the shorter the flute length, which is it's kind of funny. The shorter the flute length, the better off you are, contrary to popular belief. So yeah, a short flute length will allow you to have less deflection, less bend, and it will allow you to run your CNC faster. That longer flute length, you're not going to be able to go as fast. But if you do need to cut around stuff, and like we're going to show today, cutting through an 1.5 inch piece or 1.25 inch piece of cherry, this is going to allow you to do it. But yeah, so shorter flute lengths are good for something, guys. Congratulations.
Hey, Adam's got a great question here.
All right. I do a lot of wood, plastic, aluminum, steel. I've always had a problem with feeds and speed. What site or app? So there's not a lot of good stuff out there, personally. I haven't seen a lot of good stuff out there at all. I'm working on an app and kind of building out the site. The chip load calculator that I just showed was like the first iteration of this. And so we're eventually going to build a database to it and have lots of different options. But so this is version 1 of the chip load calculator, which works for wood. But yeah, there's not a lot of stuff out there, to be honest, because metal is different than wood. And to me, wood is a lot trickier because you have grain direction and knots and tear out, where metal, you really don't have that. And so, you know, like I said, chip load calculator is going to be a great resource for your wood and plastic. It's not going to be a great resource for aluminum and steel because I do not know how to mill that yet. And the chip load calculator is not set up to do that. But
and how do they get that chip load calculator again?
So chip load calculator, you'll be able to get it September the 4th, whenever we launch Cutting It Close Academy. That's going to be a free gift you get for looking at the Academy. Just for doing a free trial, you're going to get a hat, a chip load calculator, a sticker pack with like different like CNC terminology and stuff like that on it that you can stick on your CNC, and a USB like this right here with a little USB drive inside of the lanyard. So giving all that stuff to you for free because I think it's going to change a lot of people's lives. And I'm very excited for the Academy. I've probably spent 1,000 hours on it, and we have over 20 hours of video of just me talking and teaching. And it was a lot, and I'm very excited for it. So that's coming out next Wednesday, actually. Super excited for that. So,
hey,
thank you, James. Not the fancy one, but I'll try that one later. All right. Well,
I think that's the first one.
Oh, Tucker, this is a good, depending on where you buy bits, some have a chip load on their website. So the one thing, Tucker, that I will say about that has always got me a little, I guess, bent out of shape or sideways is that are they putting the correct feeds and speeds on there, or are they making you run them slower than you should so you burn up the bit faster so you buy more bits? And most of the times I've seen the chip load, like required chip loads, like, run it at this. They've always been like 3 times slower than what you should be running it at every time I've seen it. And so I think personally, they want you to run it slow to burn up more bits. And because whenever I run stuff at like 400 inches a minute and most people run it at 50, it's like, why, right? Like a bit only has so many rotations and cuts it can do. And so whenever you run it 5 times slower than what it's supposed to do, it's not going to last, it's going to be only last 20% as long as it should, because that bit only stays sharp so many chops of that wood, right? And that's, I just don't trust people's chip load on their website. Like 90% of the websites, they're typically too slow. And I think it's because they want you to burn up bits. That's why I don't have recommendations on CSE Workshop, because depending on the CNC you have, depending on the situation, depending on the material cutting, that's what matters, right? And the bit can handle a lot more than you think. I've ran this 1/4 inch bit right here, 1,500 inches a minute at a 1/4 inch deep. So like it can handle a lot of stuff.
Just pivoting off that side note, you want to go into what we learned more at IWF this year about coatings and kind of some misconceptions around coatings?
Yeah, I guess like coatings. So there's multiple different coatings. Everybody knows that a mono coating that has like that rainbow look to it. And right now we're letting a couple more viewers get in here before we start running that CNC. But so the Amana coating, that rainbow looking coating, that is the easiest coating to put on. It does work. And so how coatings work, right? Here's like the sharpness of the blade, and that coating goes on it. And a lot of times these coatings are a little bit harder and they're a little bit slicker. And because they're more slick, wood glides off of them easier, or aluminum or plastic, and glides off of them easier and has slightly less friction. So the bits don't get as hot. And then since this is harder, they stay sharper longer, even though they're not as sharp with that coating, because that coating is a couple microns thick. And so it technically dulls the bit a little bit. The extra hardness and lubricity allow it to cut a little bit longer. There's different grades of hardness and lubricity, and the zirconium nitrate, that ZRN coating that's gold, from everybody that I've talked to, is the hardest coating that you can get put on a bit that's relatively that's not for like extreme, aerospace conditions, right? And so that's why I coated the roughers with it. I don't think every bit needs it, first of all. Like, I don't think most finishers need a coating. I think bits that are going to just hog out a lot of material, work their ass off, and do a lot of things, that's what needs the coating. The other bits, they need to maintain that sharp edge like your finishers, so you can, because that coating covers it, right? So you need to maintain that sharp edge on the finisher. So I usually don't recommend getting coated bits that are meant to be extremely sharp, but I do like getting my roughing bits and stuff like that coated to help out with that. So I hope that they will cut better longer, all coated bits, but sometimes they're twice the price, and you're going to break some, or you're not going to run them the correct feed rate anyways. You're only going to run them 50 inches a minute because you have a hobby CNC and you can't run it the correct feed rate. And so like, you're going to burn it up. So why get the more expensive bit that you're going to burn up too early anyways? I grew this business with not using a lot of coated bits until I got to the industrial size CNCs. And then came out with a 1/4 inch rougher, this Gold Digger. And then that one is like pretty ballin'. So, I hope that answers that question. Is the course directed at growing a business as big as yours, or to help teach a small? So the way I structured it is, this is how I have found success, and whatever level you want to take it to, you can take it to that level. So like the way, and this took me 3 years to kind of actually hone down how to structure this. And then once I had all the lessons, it took me another 3 months to like kind of configure them. But it is, you know, like I don't expect anybody to be me and like work as much as I did and work 80 hours a week and maybe have that hit product. I'm not promising anything. I am saying this is what I have learned. This is what has worked for me. This is what allowed me to grow as big. This is what allowed me to start these other product lines that have also grown and made money. This is how I've seen others in the industry be successful and not, you know, one of the worst things in the world is like doing this and losing your passion because you're not making any money and you're working your ass off and you're getting taught the wrong advice. So you're walking down the wrong road and it sucks because everybody tells you to do that because a lot of people are just content creators. And so you're listening to these guys, but they're not giving you good advice because they've never done the thing. And so I literally walk around my shop in some of the videos. I just show, I'm very open because the woodworking is a huge market. And I don't think like anybody's going to directly compete with me. I don't know why you would, but you know, there's just different levels to it. So I explained everything that I did from 0 to where I'm at now. And it's pretty much the same thing at 0 that I'm doing now. And so if you want to take it to make $100,000 a year, just take it to that level and stop. Right? Like you don't have to like keep going. I like to keep going because I want that ranch one day for my family so everybody can move there. So my son, which is Waylon, he's down there right now, so he can shoot his first deer on my ranch. Like that is my lifelong goal thus far in life. And I want to keep growing the wood shop and teaching people until I get to that point where Waylon can shoot his first deer. Hope that helps, Butch. That was a long answer for a short question, but how focused is my design process? It depends. How long do I take on prototyping? Man, honestly, I don't take that long getting a product to market. I really don't. I ponder on them a lot. And then once I have that design, within a week to max of 2 weeks, it's to market. And then I iterate. Like I don't stress over it being the right thing because I'm assuming I know what the customer wants. And I think I know what they want, but I don't know for sure. And so I'll bring it and then I'm like, okay, well, they more boys are buying it. So let me make it darker. More girls are buying it. So let me make it lighter. This is a sharp edge. So let me change that. And I call customers. I ask them, you know, hey, how do you like it? How do you not like it? This is a brand new product, da, 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 da. And they give me a lot of feedback. But the design process, I mean, it's not as crazy as you think because any wood product has already been made, most likely. You're just doing an upgrade, a 10% better version of whatever thing you're designing. And so you're just looking at a product that's probably, you know, like even if you make tables, I don't care what you make, it's already been made in some iteration. That's why it's incredibly hard to get patents on wood products because everything's pretty much been freaking made. And then you just make it 10% better and hope that works. And so I knew piggy banks when I came out the piggy banks, I knew they'd work. Why piggy banks have been around forever. And I was like, well, I can make one out of wood and hopefully sell it to people and hopefully they like it because kids like piggy banks. And so I targeted kids with piggy banks. And I made them look nice. And that took me, like a week to design them and get them out to market. Let me see. So Dustin, that's a great question. You can't do anything. You just take the L, you take the lick, right? Like if your CNC can't go that fast, you can't like make sure your CNC can't go that fast. And like, you know, if it maxes out at 150, you know, you have a smaller CNC. And so you will technically use bits faster, but that's okay. Because hopefully the bits you're using are making you enough money because that CNC is such a low overhead, right? Like it's not very big. It doesn't have a big footprint. You don't have all these utilities. You don't have this big barn you have to put it in. And so the trade-off of that is burning up bits faster. But the benefit is you don't have a lot of space you're taking up and you're efficient. So like when I got finally able to run bits at their normal feed rates, well, then I had all this overhead. And so I had to cut out faster and optimize those bits because I had to produce enough product to pay for everything. And so it's one or the other. Like you're going to burn up bits a little bit faster, but that's okay. Right? You know, get a coated bit, you know, learn how to utilize your bits for what they need to be utilized for. But there's no like great option. And let me Charlie, I'm gonna go check on the CNC real quick. Here it is. They're testing it out, and maybe we can get that table cut here pretty quick. So Charlie, I'm gonna hand it over to you just real quick. Oh, we're good apparently. We are good. So let me yell down at them. They're right over there, and we'll cut out this cocktail table. So I'll be right back, guys.
Perfect. Well, guys, we are excited to demo this product for you. We've actually got a discount code right now, CICworkshop.com, 15% off just during this live for the grand unveiling of this product. If you guys have any more questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. Ron will get to them in just a second.
All right, guys, we are ready to run. I'm going to turn on volume a little bit on the CNC, then probably cut it off because we have that dust collector going, or the vacuum pump going. And so we just turn that on. It's kind of a weird sound. But yeah, so it's about to run. And let me show y'all just real quick what we're cutting out today. And so what we're cutting out today, let me, oh, okay. There we go. So it's this little cocktail table that, let's see if we can, so it's this little cocktail table like that, and it fits together. It's pretty cool. And so we use it a lot for a lot of different projects. All right, man, I think we're ready, Brandon. Let's run it. And so this CNC is about to go 800 inches a minute with the Golden Boy Gold Digger bit, which is our 1-inch cutting length on a it's going to be spinning at 18,000 RPMs, going 800 inches a minute, upcut, 1-inch cutting length on the flute. It's going to do 4 pockets first in this back corner. Let's see if we can hear it a little bit. Yeah, it's just kind of a weird sound. Yeah. Let's see how fuzzy it gets. Yeah, so it's pocketing down a 1/2 inch at a time right now, going as fast as I can possibly run it. I'm actually curious if this bit's going to break. I haven't actually ran it that fast. So it's kind of nerve-wracking actually watching this here, guys. Not going to lie. All right, it's about to run 800 inches a minute, 3/4 of an inch, almost a 3/8 pass. See if it breaks. Oh, look at that. That is so fast. Has his little dog bones. God. Cool. Here. Yeah, that thing is scooped. Is that cool to y'all guys? Let me know if this is cool. This took a lot of stuff to set up, and really hope that, I don't think the bit's gonna break. It's a rougher, it's a Golden Boy, it's not meant to break. But yeah. And so this is one of the 3-4 things we have ready for y'all today. So I'm gonna do 2 passes. So it's cutting out in 2 passes, 800 inches a minute. Upcut. So that's a 1/4 inch. That's a 1/4 inch upcut right there. Wade. Yeah. And that's the same bit. I started using that in my Onefinity as well. And yeah, that looks like we have a visitor as well. So he's learning all about CNCs and stuff as well. Yeah. Pretty cool, Waylon. Want to say hi to everybody? Yeah, and if y'all have any questions about that, let me know, guys. And this one's going to be cool. It's going to be a circle. Yeah. Oh, this is really cool. I like the tool changes. So this is how a shop saver changes. Well, and so there's supposed to be a dust hood on it that it's taking off. And it's going to come back, drop that bit off, that golden boy off, drop it off, change tools. It's going to grab tool number 2, which is a finisher. And it's going to come back by and take off a 32nd of an inch. And come back by and clean up that plywood. So, yeah, it's a. And while that's running, I'll talk a little bit about what it's doing now. So we had a question like this, interested to see how much tear out it has. And so ideally, I left a 32nd of tolerance or of allowance on this cut. And so that finisher is coming back by. Yeah. And so this finisher should come back by because that rougher doesn't have a huge roughing edge on it. God, he's going all over the place. And so it should take off that edge right there. And so when this comes by, and that's just a 1/4 inch down cut I have on there. I like using down cuts for finished edges. Yeah, and see that cut quality is in super good. Right there. Yeah. And so that cut quality is now super good. And so I like doing that with roughers because I like doing that with roughers because that rougher comes by, takes off a lot of the material and does all of the wear and tear. And that's why I coat those roughing bits. That's why I coat them with that that zirconium nitrate coating. That way it can handle all that wear and tear. And then that really sharp finisher comes back by, takes off a 32nd of an inch, and makes a really good product like that. And so now it's just doing that last finishing pass right there, taking off that 32nd of an inch that I left. And hopefully they'll take it off and actually assemble this, and you'll see kind of see what this thing is. It's pretty cool. And so this is one of the first things we're going to cut out for you guys. But yeah, I love hearing this. They're about to jog that machine back to the back. Hopefully they don't talk or cuss or anything. But boom. So they jog that machine back and they'll start symbolizing this. Symbolizing. Boom. And there starts. So we'll yep. Hopefully I cut all the way through. I don't know if I did or not, honestly. All right, good. Semi. Yep. So, yes, Misty Woods Tradecraft LLC. That was, yeah. I didn't cut all the way through. I didn't caliper the dang plywood before, but they'll make do with it, and they'll be all right. So, while they're breaking all that apart, let me take some more questions. So. Was that just one pass with the finisher? Yes, I typically only do one pass with that finisher, and I'll leave a tiny little bit of like onion skin on the bottom, and that finisher will come by, take that 32nd of an inch off, like right here on the pass, and then cut a little bit down in that material. And that's why I use a down cut, because there's not a lot of chips in there, because that roughing bit came and threw everything out. And then that finisher comes back by, makes a super clean cut, and everything's good in the world, and I don't have to sand a lot. Now, the rougher has very small little barbs, and so, you could technically be okay, like just doing the rougher and having a little bit of sanding, but I like coming back with a finisher.
Ryan, what made you want to make your own bit, like trying to balance price, quality, other options out there on the market? What stuck out to you with this bit lineup that makes it possible to do stuff like that, running it that fast?
Honestly, I needed one in the shop. We use like $25,000 to $50,000 of bits a year, depending on if it's a resharpening year or not. And a 1/4 inch down cut is actually our most used bit. And so we use those on a daily basis in the shop. And then I even have I have the Golden Boy XL, and the Golden Girl. And the Golden Girl's our down cut version that we'll use to actually like do different pockets in our bowls and trays that we sell on Amazon and stuff. And so, yeah, so that's what we do, what we use it for. I just use them in the shop, and then I just sell them to people who ever want to use them. Right? I
use
them
with the name.
Gold Digger. It's going to dig out wood and it's shiny like gold. I think I thought
you
more.
You show them a close up? Do you have one next to you right now?
Yeah, but the close ups are not too bueno. Actually, I don't know what I did with it, Charlie, to be honest with you. But anyways, on the CNC. All right, take another question, and then they're symbolizing that table. It's kind of lonely, but the next thing we're going to cut, guys, is we're going to take a bit and cut through an 1 1/4 inch thick piece of cherry in one pass with an 1 1/4 inch or with a 1/4 inch bit. And so it's literally, and I've never done it. I do not know if it's going to break, but I'm going to see what this bit, honestly, it could break in the middle of it. We're going to take a piece of cherry and cut one pass 1 1/4 inch thick through the material. We're going to go pretty slow, like 60 inches a minute, but I don't know if it's going to break or not. So we'll see. Yeah. So this right here, 1 1/4 inch thick piece of material, or 1.2, whatever that is, 1.28. So pretty thick piece of material. Brandon, adjust the, it won't cut all the way through because I have it programmed for 1.25. So adjust it to 1.28. All right. Thanks, man. So yeah, we'll be cutting out a 1.28 piece thick of material in one pass. So, all right, I'll take another. If that finisher is a down cut, does that cause chip out on the underside? No, because that vacuum table, that spoil board is there. And so whenever you use that down cut, right, the chips are supposed to go, let me see. Usually I have like a little example. Okay, here's a piece of paper. And so whenever I use that down cut, the chips are supposed to go downwards, right? But because you have that spoil board on the bottom, what happens is that chips get cut off because that bit's pushing down. What's supposed to have chips there actually get cut off because they have nowhere else to go but to get cut. Oh, thanks, Bob. And so, yeah, here's a gold digger. You can't see it though. It's just a 1/4 inch bit, so it's not very big, but it's pretty dang awesome. But yeah, so it doesn't cause a chip out on the underside ever because we have that spoil board there. That's why like down cuts are my favorite bits to use for most things. Hope that answers your question, Lester. And Lester, by the way, thank you for being a long-time subscriber. I think Lester's been there since, gosh, probably 2,000 subscribers, something like that. Lester has been there. Recognize the name. Thank you so much, Lester, just for being there for me when I needed the motivation, man. All right, we have another question.
Got one from Anthony.
It took me about 6 months. 6 months, and the life expectancy with the coating on a rougher is 2 to 3x. So it's 2 to 3x the life of a normal roughing bit. And so, and there's not a lot of 1/4 inch roughers out there. I think mine's one of the only ones that's out there. The reason being is most industrial companies don't need 1/4 inch roughers. They need 1/2 inch roughers and 3/8 roughers because the machine can never get, most hobbyists, the machine can never get that fast anyways. And so they don't use 1/4 inch roughers most of the time. And so big companies never developed them. But now there's such a big emerging hobby market that, I think there's finally a need for them. And so I took the last 6 months kind of developing it because we had to look at how big the roughing parts are, how big the divots are, what the upshear was, because we tested out probably 20 different cut angles. And a lot of times it had too much upshear and it was ripping out too much material. And so this one, it rips out. It's a good shear angle. It gets all the chips out and it doesn't leave a lot of tear out like you saw on the plywood whenever we bring that finisher back around.
Perfect. I think Kenny was asking about the vacuum table here.
No, that is not a DIY. I am not very good at DIY stuff. That was a full-blown, I have a Becker 15 horsepower vacuum pump on the back. And yeah, it's a hog of a table. It's nice. What's crazy is my CR Unstrewed has a 44 horsepower vacuum. And so what they're doing right now on the that piece of cherry, which is just a normal cherry panel that we have, they're putting tape around the edge because this bit is going to have a lot of torque on it, and we want to make sure no vacuum escapes. And so we're just taping around those edges, and when we turn on that vacuum table, it's going to suck that material down a lot better. And then we have some thin wax paper that we stick on the table itself. And so that vacuum doesn't escape whenever we cut out product. And so, and I'm actually going to see if I can hop on my phone and hop down there. And yeah, and I actually have one more question for Derek. So Derek, you asked why not a compression bit? A roughing compression doesn't make practical sense. So like a roughing compression doesn't. There's a chip breaker compression that I'm working on that I'm going to come out with. That's pretty awesome. And I think it'll work really well. But a roughing compression, like once again, because you use that roughing's meant to take off, do all the work for you. And then you come back with that finisher. So if you're cutting out the projects all the way with that compression bit, you need it to be a finisher or a chip breaker, which leaves a finished edge on it and not a roughing bit. So even on the industrial level machines, I've never seen a roughing compression bit, even at the 1/2 inch level. Hey, Brandon, I might hop down there with y'all, man. And I want to see it in person as well. So let me switch over and yeah, hop down there, switch over to the phone. Oh, let me remove myself from the live stream here.
Yep, guys, so we're about to run this bit through cherry panel that is over 1.25 inches thick. We're just getting the finishing touches on it now, but what do you guys think so far? Pretty impressive, right? I thought so. I'm with a lot of you guys. I've dabbling in the hobby grade CNCs, do not have access to this industrial machinery, but it definitely does fascinate me, the capability of it. Any other questions here? We can get them lined up and ready to go for answering once we're done with this second demo here. But I've got a question for you guys. What would you like to see out there in the bit market currently? Like, what problems are you experiencing? Do you guys have any bits that you want to see that you currently aren't able to get access to, or maybe they're too expensive? We're looking to solve problems. Yeah. Let me add Ryan to the stage here real quick.
All right. You're in.
All right, Ryan, I got you on.
All right. I don't know why it's not turning like that. Let's see. You're not doing it right? All right. That work? No? All right. I'll just go like this. I just want to be down here. All right. So Charlie, bring on the other camera and we'll be good to go. We good? Let's run it. Let's run it, baby. Let's go. Let's run it. 1.25 inch deep, 1 pass. This is the Gold Digger Golden Boy XL. It could break. Not gonna lie, it could break. Ah! Fuck, I'm nervous. I'm gonna step back a little bit, man. Look at that. Ah! That is wild. Let's just leave. Ah, dude, let's turn the vacuum pump off. Dude, that is wild. We got tiny little chips right here, and then it should, boom. Freaking, look at that. 1 pass, 1.25 inch thick piece of material. Where's it at? There we go. 1.25 inch thick piece of material, 1/4 inch bit. That's pretty wild. And if you can look, you probably can't look real close, but there is like some tiny roughing marks right here. And so you can see where those roughing has some tiny little chips. And so this bit, which actually is not even hot, which is great. So this bit's going to come back by, maxed out the bit, and it's cutting off all that material right there. It's going down the line. So that was really cool. I just wanted to be down here for that. And yeah, so I'm going to hop back upstairs. But yeah, so guys, this is the shop a little bit, just to show y'all. We got stuff everywhere. There's my dad. Say hi, Dad. Hi. Dad. Lots of panels we're about to cut out. Yep. All right. I'm out. About to hop back on.
Alrighty. What did y'all think about that? That is pretty impressive to me. I cannot imagine doing that on my machine. Pretty crazy. Let's see here what we got going on in the chat. That was insane. Sick. Testing its limits. She's screaming. Agreed.
Yeah, that was not recommended. Yeah. I didn't ramp it in because I didn't want the ramp to hit the material, so I just went straight down and started fresh. That's why I didn't do a ramp, Butch. I usually do. So, but we're just getting the CNC blown off. Typically, we have our dust collector on, our dust hood on, but that dust collector is pretty loud, so we don't want to mess up live stream. So now we just have to sweep a lot tomorrow in the shop. So y'all are welcome. Any questions on all of that? Because it was exciting. I was a little nervous. Didn't have my safety glasses on. Don't report me to OSHA. I was also drinking, but it's my company. I won't report me. So, yeah, that was a lot. Charlie, we got any good questions? That was crazy.
I think we scared some chickens.
Oh, yo, that is, once again, it wasn't recommended for that. I maybe could have sped up the feed rate, but I've never ran it like that. I probably never will again because I'll just do 2 passes next time. But it just shows like the bit is so much more capable than you could ever imagine. And it's probably going to, like, in most cases, break your machine before you break the bit. So, like, don't be afraid to, like, hog out some material and cut fast, especially with those. Like, that is wild. And that's a 5x diameter, right? So usually on wood, the max you ever go is 3x the diameter. So if you have a 1/4 inch bit, you only go 3/4 of an inch deep. Or if you have a 1/2 inch bit, you only go 1.5 inches at a time, like maximum in like pine. And so that was a 5x diameter cut, which was pretty incredible, if you're asking me. And they're getting it ready for our next thing, and it's going to be a heart tray. Butch, great question. That's actually a bit we've been using in the shop, so it shouldn't be shot. We're going to keep on using it. The only way it would be shot is if it A, got dull, or B, has a micro fracture in it. But if it had a micro fracture in it, it would have broke anyways, or it would have broke already in the nut of the collet and the collet nut. And so I'm cheap. It's going to get used right back again in the shop. And yeah, we actually have a project tomorrow we got to use it on, cutting out some weird shapes out of red oak. So
Finger on the e-stop.
yeah. I was puckered. Let's just say that. There was multiple things on me that were puckered up. I was a little nervous. Not gonna lie. I'm not. This is only for y'all guys. I would never do that normally. Oh, here we go. So that cocktail table that we just cut out, here it is. There we go. So that's how it gets put together. And then we're designing some stools for it, some high top stools. And so it just fits together like that. And actually just goes in there. So that's that table we cut out. Now, granted, it used a full sheet of plywood, but it is super nice. It'll fit down in there once they get it all connected there. Yeah, it's woodworking. But they'll get it all connected, and they'll hammer it down, and then it'll fit in there. There's old Dad. So that was what we just cut out. That took, 3-4 minutes to cut out. That piece of plywood cost $40. It's a double-sided UV with a eucalyptus core. So it's a double-sided UV birch with a eucalyptus core. Cost $40 a sheet. Took 3 minutes on the CNC. And then you can sell those tables if you put like a vinyl wrap on the top. You know, you can sell those tables $1.20, $1.50 a pop with the company's logo on it. And then right there on the side where those legs meet, we typically do a logo, and we're going to still do one, but you do a logo right there and you paint it and then you wrap the top with vinyl. And so it's just kind of the only thing I wish I do better is like nest it where it didn't use a full sheet. But if you're selling them for $1.50, like, you know, you're making good money on it. So got our next thing. Brandon, give me a thumbs up whenever you are ready for the heart tray. I'll give you just a little bit of time. And it's just going to cut out one from there. It typically would do 4, but we're only going to cut out 1 heart tray, and we're going to be using Bamcor to cut it out to give it a really cool 2-tone look. So that's the next thing we're going to cut out. But just give me a thumbs up, guys, whenever y'all are ready. Charlie, I'm going to bring you back. So the Golden Boys, any Gold Digger currently is a 3-flute bit because it's meant to remove a lot of material really quickly. And 3 flutes actually have a thicker core in them because the flutes can't go all the way to the core of the bit. So a 3-flute bit, you would think it'd be like less rigid. It's actually a little bit more sturdy because the core is more solid in that carbide. So it's a 3-flute, but typically roughers are 3 flutes so they can move and not break and hog out a lot of material really, really fast. And so I have like, here, let me show the sticker. And so I have these Gold Digger stickers. So if you ever get a Gold Digger, you'll get this Gold Digger sticker right here. It's like a shiny metallic. A little saying on the bottom says cuts fast, stays sharp, because that's what they're meant to do. They're meant to cut fast and stay sharp. So you'll get a little cool, like little gold sticker. I don't know. I thought they were pretty cool. And so don't put this on the back of anybody's car. They'll get a different impression because they don't know about CNC bits. They'll just see Gold Digger. And yeah, don't do that. Try to stick it on my wife's car, and she didn't get the joke. But yeah, hopefully
it's a good question that comes from that.
So right now we do print our own vinyl wrap. We have those printers because I have that other company called Frio Coolers, which we print vinyl and we wrap coolers and cups and stuff like that. But a lot of times you can work with the print shop because that tabletop is like, let's say 30 inches big. And so you can just work with the local print shop. That vinyl wrap should maybe cost you $20, something like that. If you make a good connection with the local print shop, and then you send them the logo, they'll print it out for you. They like you because you're giving them business, because believe it or not, other businesses want business. And so other businesses get business from you, you're getting business. And because our printers are 25 grand a piece, so you probably don't want to use those, but just find a print shop that has one, and vinyl should not be expensive. So hope that's answering these questions there. I don't know if we're ready yet for the heart tray.
That's TJ's job. That's what he just said.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, TJ. Yes. Yes. All right. And once they're ready over there in the shop, they're Z-hiding the right now they're Z-hiding the material. And so once they get through Z-hiding it, we'll be ready to run over there. Always mess the cut halfway through and losing steps. I run a Makita router. Could it be the issue? Absolutely. What feed rate are you running at that, Mark? If you're running it at a slow feed rate, that could be the issue as well. I mean, like 18,000 RPMs, 12,000, what are you running it at? But a lot of times routers have a lot of chatter, okay? And so in CNCs, the bit can vibrate, the collet nut can vibrate, the spindle or the router can vibrate, and then all the gantries and stuff can vibrate. And so the vibration that's closest to the cutting multiplies the most. And so if your bit is chattering a lot because that router or that spindle is vibrating, it's just going to extend on up through your whole machine and multiply every time it hits another vibration point. And so you won't be able to run it as fast. Yeah. And so with that, I mean, it really depends on your feed rate. You know, slower is not better. You don't want it to rub and create friction. And so you want to be able to run that, you know, on a Makita router. I don't have a lot of experience with routers, but, you know, you're at least going, okay, you're on 100 to 215 inches a minute. That's probably a little fast for that Makita, which sucks to hear. It might be a little fast, but you can probably go deeper. So you don't have to stick with 0.2. At least go the diameter of the bit. That's what I always recommend. Always go the diameter of the bit or deeper if you're cutting wood. So because it's still going to chatter whether you're cutting a 1/4 inch deep, 0.1, or 1/2 inch deep. It's still going to chatter. It may chatter a little bit more at 1/2 inch, but it's still going to chatter on you no matter what.
Hey, Kenny, I think we've got something we're going to cut out today that could give you an idea.
Yeah, we're about to cut out that heart tray out of it. Charlie, have you seen him give me the thumbs up yet? I have not. But it's going to be pretty cool. Cutting out that heart tray. Oh, we got a thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
So what it's going to do, so we have a 1/4 inch. We're going to have that 1/4 inch golden boy come in there and rough the pocket out. And then it's going to come back and do a tiny profile around the edge. And you'll see and then we're going to come back to the bowl and tray bit, and I'll take off everything and then come back with that 1/4 inch rougher and cut everything out. And I know a lot of you don't have automatic tool changers and stuff like that. And so like, you just have to figure it out for yourself, how you want to run these. But I do. And I just want to show y'all how it all works and like how we do it on an industrial level. So we would have a whole sheet expanded across the whole table when we do this, but for video's sake, we were just going to do it right here like this. And so it's going to spin up and it's going to hog out. It's going to pocket down a 1/2 inch at a time, going 400 inches a minute. So 1/2 inch at a time, 400 inches a minute. Crazy. Look at that. Like 400 inches a minute, 1/2 inch pass in that BAM cord. And that's a 90% step over is what I'm doing with that pocket. Or 95% step over. And so it's making a heart tray right now. But yeah, 95% step over, 1/4 inch bit, 1/4 inch upcut, 400 inches a minute. This is literally the most beautiful thing in the world, by the way. Like, I love this stuff. Yeah, so now you see this heart shape forming. And I have it doing a raster at a 45-degree angle because I like the cross-grain cutting direction that it does. And it looks really cool when it's cutting out a heart. So I'll have it rastering at a 45-degree angle. And so then it's going to do a profile. It's going to do a, watch this. So it's going to do a finishing pass, clean all that stuff up. And that's called a final pass on a raster. It's called a final pass on a raster. And then it's going to come back by and leave this little ledge. And so, Brandon, if you can bring her in close to that ledge right there. And why we do this ledge on our bowls, so you see this little ledge. And so what it does, it allows that bowl bit to be a little happy whenever it's cutting. Yeah. And so that way when that bowl bit comes back by, because that bowl bit has that radius edge, it's going to cut a lot better. And so we're using a CIC workshop bowl bit. Salesman. But we are using a cutting it close shop bowl bit. Have to come back by.
Wrong bit.
Oh, wrong bit. All right, well.
Yep, wrong bit. We got to swap them over. Whoopsie.
All right. Well, actually, let's watch. Let's watch them swap. They're going over there. They got 6 and 7 messed up. So what they're going to do now is, let me mute them. So they're going to, they had it in the wrong tool holder, and so they're switching it over to the correct one. They're going to go grab that bit and then tool height it, and they actually don't even have to Z height it anymore because the tool height tells the CNC how far away that bit is from the end of the spindle, and it already knows how tall the material is based off of those parameters that we set earlier. And so it should go and drop off this bit that we're about to use next. The last thing we're cutting out is probably my favorite, by the way. It's this wall panel that has like this drip look to it. It's really, really cool. And so that's what we're cutting out next. I'm going to let them get it switched out. I'll take some more questions while they're getting this all changed over. And let me know, guys, give us a like if you're liking this. This took a lot to kind of put together, and I really hope, y'all are enjoying this and giving y'all some real live action on the CNC, because I didn't have this action when I was coming up in the CNC world and trying to learn and trying to progress in my journey. And so, like, I hope just to show y'all this. I mean, I'm doing this for a living, so I'm technically making more competition for me because y'all are learning. But like, what the hell? Like, why not? Why not teach y'all guys? And so that's why I'm showing you all this stuff. I just want y'all to learn and be successful and be awesome and, you know, live your passion and just love this shit. And so, yeah. Adam, it's hot. It's in Texas. It is hot. I don't know if you want to work here. I can't air condition the shop. You're going to be sweating. You're going to be sweating. We can't air condition the shop because the dust collector sucks out too much air and it is way too big of a building, and I cannot foot that bill. So we sweating. We have a water-cooled fan blowing through, but we're sweating there. Good. It's hot. Just know that. Let's see. Do we have any more questions? And be sure, guys, give us a thumbs up. I think it's a like on YouTube. Give us a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. Oh, you're working 120 now? Well, come join the club. Come and join the club. You know, we, yeah. That's where we got you beat. It's like 75% humidity. I'm like 30 minutes from the coast. It's hot. All right. This question is actually a really good one. Okay. To rehelmet it real quick. So is a Shop Saber better than Laguna? Before I say this, I'm not sponsored by anybody. I don't take any sponsorships because I don't want to be biased towards anything. I like Shop Saber a lot. I like their customer service. I like that I actually visited their factory in Minnesota where they make these CNCs and shook the welder's hand that puts these together. That is important to me. I also like that the table size is a little bit wider on the Shop Saber. So like on Laguna, if you get a 4-foot wide table, you get a 4-foot wide table. Like you can't set a, screwdriver down on it. With a Shop Saber, if you buy a 4-foot wide table, you get like a 5-foot wide table. And so you have this space on each side. The last thing I like about them is you can fix everything with a freaking screwdriver. You can see the part that breaks. And so if you're a good old country boy like me and you like to fix shit and don't like to have to call people to come in and fix stuff for you and why they have to send a tech out, that's why I like Shop Saber. You're like, oh, this part broke. Now, you may have to order the part, but it's like you get a screwdriver and Allen wrench, you take off the damn thing. There's not too many bells and whistles. Even like the limit switches are manual. So it's like a push-in limit switch, which is beautiful. And so when something breaks on it, I just fix it. Like, just like we grew up on the farm, like we just fix shit. And that is so important to me. And like my on-strue is really awesome, but like I have to call a tech in, but it is a $300,000 machine. So it's okay. The Shop Saber, I paid for at the time, all in, all done, shipping, vacuum table, everything included was about $70K all in. Within 3 months, it cut out $1 million, or within 6 months, it cut out $1 million of product. So I think I fared pretty well. And then the resale value on them is pretty high. I used one for about 2 years, bought it for 68, sold it for 42, and it cut out $1 million of product for me. So like, it's a good trade-off, good investment. But the main thing is, I had a plan before I bought it. I didn't just buy like this expensive machine and didn't know what I was going to cut. I bought it knowing it was about to produce me $1 million of product if I did this upgrade. And that's why, like in all my YouTube videos, I go over the numbers because they don't have feelings. Like there's no emotion there. Like there's no emotion. I'm just going over numbers, showing y'all what it's all about, and it's a beautiful thing. And so yeah, they're I don't know if they're quite ready yet, but they're grabbing that next tool.
James got a question here. I think we missed earlier.
Yeah. How do you tell when a bit needs to be replaced? When it's black, when it breaks. Well, that's if you have a small CNC, when it's black or when it breaks. There's your two. The other way to do it is do the fingernail test. So you take that bit. And you run it on your fingernail. I don't know if you can see it. It's kind of weird. You run it on your fingernail, and if it takes off your fingernail, it's still sharp. So you'll notice if you have black tip bits, oh yeah, they're ready to go. So if you notice if you have black tip bits, they're going to take off they're not going to be able to like really cut your fingernail off too much, I guess, or like trim a lot of stuff from your fingernail. But if you have a hobby, just run it until it breaks. Like don't make it any more confusing than that. Like, it's okay. I run it till it's really black or till it breaks. Don't run it till it breaks. Sorry, I said that. Run it till it's really black. Yeah, it's okay. Like, it's okay. If you have industrial CNC, you do the fingernail test because you're trying to get extremely good cut quality. So now it's going to come back with that bowl bit. And so I'm doing another raster on it. I'm doing a 10% step over. This one's going to take a little bit. But what I want you to notice on this is because I pocketed out because I had that little ridge that I talked about earlier, that bit is not working so hard. Right? That bit's only taking off that little ridge right there. That little ridge that I left. Because the radius is kind of shaping it up. And so that's super important to think about whenever you're coming back with a bowl bit. If you come back with a bowl bit, I like to because I can do one pass with that golden boy, hog out all the material, come back with that bowl bit, and kind of clean everything up. And even if you have a 3-minute tool change in there, it's still faster. And they just said not deep enough. And so whenever I program this, I programmed them both to be the right height to build. So they're both going down 0.5 of an inch. And what I should have did is went down 0.5 with or 0.48 with the rougher and 0.50 with the bowl bit. That way it takes out those lines because that upcut is going to have a little bit of tear out. And you see those lines even after the bowl bit. And so this one's okay because I'm showing y'all and it's live and I'm just trying to be honest with y'all. But what I should have did is do that rougher at 0.48 and then do that bowl bit at 0.50, and it would have took out those little lines that are being left right there. But you know what? It's okay. That's the one that I take home and don't sell to customers. Or I wait till February and give to my wife on Valentine's. Let's see if we can hear some sound. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna mute it back again. But anyways, and so that's just doing 10% step over. It's going to clear out that. It's going to come back with a profile pass, and then we're going to cut it out again. So I don't do a last pass. I'm not sure what you mean by that. This pass with the bowl bit should be a little bit deeper than that rougher. That way it cleans everything up and takes all those roughing marks away and makes it look beautiful. That's what I should have did that I did not do. And it is about to... Yes, Tucker, exactly. I use a bowl bit like a finisher. That's what I use it for. And even if you have a small CNC, you can take that rougher. Like if you have a good jig, you can put multiple panels on there, rough them out, take them off, rough it out, take it off, and then get that bowl bit. And if you have a good jig, once again, if it goes right back in the same spot, then you can come back with that bowl bit and clean everything out. So you have less tool changes. But I don't know. I'm a big fan of, and I didn't know about roughers until I got my industrial CNCs. And that's when I started using them. And I was like, holy crap, these things, they last longer, right? They cut faster, they cut deeper, they stay sharper longer. And then I can just use a finisher. And then my finishers last longer because they're not doing all the cutting, right? I don't bend a shank on a 1/4 inch downcut bowl bit. And so now it's coming back. It's going to rough out the outside. Oh, it broke. See? Look at that. Ha! See, this wasn't all planned. It broke. Mainly because I was probably trying to go, I tried to go in one pass, 3/4 of an inch deep, 800 inches a minute in this BAMCore. And it's a lot harder of a material. So it did break. See, guys, this is not all staged. And so they're going to pop that out, switch it over, and everything's going to work. So, so I can't go 3/4 inches deep as fast as I want to. Shit happens. They'll change that out, and then we'll get back to questions. It's all good. It happens all the time. All right. While they're doing that, Brian actually had a good question. So Brian, real quick, I'm gonna more. Elijah Craig here. So Phantom, once again, I don't want to like talk shit about anybody's company. I don't want to have a negative opinion. What I would say to look at on Phantom is how easy is it to press go? And I say that a lot in a lot of my videos, but how easy is it to press go on your CNC? That Phantom has a really good computer system, but it means it's really complicated. And so like it's the old school CNC. And so like it has a keyboard, a lot of like G code and stuff like that. What I like about ShopSaver, and once again, ShopSaver doesn't pay me. I wish they did. They don't even talk to me, which is like, I'm like their #1 promoter, but that's another tangent. What I like about ShopSaver is that it's really easy to press go. And so if it's really hard for me to understand how to press go, whenever I grow my business, I can't teach somebody else to press go. And so that's once again, that's the #1 thing I look at on CNCs, because they're all relatively the same. Like they're just comparing apples to apples. And it's like, well, this apple's slightly better than this apple. It's like, yeah, but which one can I eat faster? Right? Like which one can I run faster? Which one can I run and make more money with? They all cut. They all have motors. They're all better than the other one. You know, which one can you press go on quicker so you can make money faster with it? That's what I look at every time. Every freaking time.
Makes sense.
Where's the Lester, don't be saying that. Don't be saying that. You know, this is delicious whiskey. I drink it because it's delicious, not because I just saw a bit get broke on a live stream on my YouTube channel in front of hundreds of people. That's not why I did that. It's because I really enjoy this Elijah Craig barrel proof B523 whiskey.
Tucker was wondering about the depth on those trays.
I usually like to let me just get the focus. I usually like to leave a 1/4 inch minimum on the back of all my trays. So if I have like 3/4 inch material, I'm leaving a 1/4 inch like surface on the back. And so that particular one, I went down a 1/2 inch. If I have like an 1.25 inch tray that I'm making, I'll leave like a 1/2 inch backing on it and go down like 1 inch. But it depends. Like a bowl bit typically only goes up to about 5/8 of an inch on the cutting height. And so you can only make your tray 5/8 of an inch deep, or your bowl 5/8 of an inch deep, because the cutting height on that bowl bit only allows you to do that. But I usually like to leave a 1/4 inch backing on it. Tucker. Nice profile pic, by the way.
This is pretty cool here from Mick.
Oh, man. See, 5-axis is over my head. 20 foot by 5 foot. That's a massive machine. I've seen people use them for like a trailer, mobile homes construction. They have like an 80-foot CNC, and they put the whole panel of the mobile home on there. And it has a spray paint thing. It has saws. It has so it'll mark all the light sockets, all of the, where all the light switches should go. It'll carve out the windows. And then it's an 80-foot long CNC. I think CR Unstrewed actually made it for them, but it's like Clayton Homes has one. But the 5-axis ones, those are awesome. That's way above my head, way above my pay grade, 100%. Brandon, are y'all ready on the CNC over there? Yeah, so Adam, exactly right. Oh, they got a little bit longer. Exactly right. Like, this is what I learned later on, right? Like, roughers are real. And like, when you have that hobby CNC, you got to think about, how do I optimize this rougher? Like, do I need to make a jig where I can put 5 panels on, rough them out, put them back on the CNC when my finisher's on there, because I don't have an automatic tool changer, and then I finish everything? You know, that's an option if you can only cut out 1 tray at a time. And so I love roughers, though. Like, it's and something like the down cut with the Golden Girl.
Looks like they're
like,
good to go, Ryan.
Okay, sweet. That down cut, that Golden Girl, is a beast of a bit as well. All right, let's see. Let's hopefully this one doesn't break. It could break again because they didn't change the setting. So I don't know why. Wow, thing is
What did?
Yeah. All right, I'll turn off that sound. And so now we have that Golden Boy came by, took off that outside pass. And the reason it's up there so high on the plywood, I can actually nest 4 of them on a 2 foot by 2 foot panel. So like that panel of BAM cord cost $40 on the website. You can cut out 4 heart trays and you can make some money, right? And look at, Brandon, go closer to that tear out. See, it's not a lot of tear out on there. Like that's an upcut with not a lot of tear out. That's why it took me 6 months to design this bit, because I didn't want a lot of tear out with an upcut. I think that's really important. That's where my passion lies. And that's me nerding out, but it's really important. Yeah. And now it's coming back with that downcut finisher. It's pretty loud. It's screaming. But that one's taking off a 32nd of an inch at a time. And it's cutting all the way through, or at least should be cutting all the way through if I programmed it right, in the haste of trying to get all this done for y'all guys before it started. And then it should pop out, ideally. And by the way, give a shout out to Brandon and Vincent and my dad. They're down there in the shop running. Boom, you got a heart tray. Looks awesome. Look at the cutting edge on the bottom, Brandon. The very bottom, because people are wondering about the tear out from that downcut bit. And so top has none there. Look at the bottom of it now. And see, we still have those lines because they didn't go down deep enough with that bowl. But see, that bottom side has no tear out because that spoil board was there. And so downcuts work great. They almost act like a compression when cutting into a spoil board. Thank you, Brandon. And so they almost act like a downcut bit when cutting into a spoil board. And the last thing they're about to get ready, we're going to do this wall pattern that I absolutely love. They're going to take this huge bit and like do a fluting toolpath and go into the material. It looks absolutely sick. I can't wait for them to do it. It's like my favorite thing. That's why I saved it for last. I made y'all stay up for this, but it is awesome. Charlie, I'm going to bring you back on while they're getting all that peeled off there.
One more from Tucker asking about the stain.
No, I typically don't stain most things, Tucker. By the way, I haven't seen you on any live streams, so thank you for tuning in this time, or at least asking questions on this time. Really appreciate it. I don't typically stain. I usually use walnut, cherry, or maple, and just dip them in I either finish them with Osmocote or just dip them in mineral oil, put a little beeswax coating on there, rub it real good, and we're good to go. But the caveat to that is I design all products to be able to do that. And so I don't take on products that I have to, 95% of my products are like that. And the reason I do that is because I don't want to have this finishing process that's expensive and nobody understands how expensive it is. And so it's harder to sell finished products. They feel more like plastic and people don't understand. It's a huge process and a big undertaking and a huge liability to have a spray line in my shop. But if you're a cabinet shop or making dining room tables, you might need to put a coat of poly on there, a coat of lacquer. But for me and my products that I make, I don't have to. And I keep it that way for a reason. VOCs and ventilation and all VOCs, ventilation, insurance goes through the roof, and you have flammable liquids, all kind of stuff.
Especially with BAMCore, you don't need any finish, No,
you don't need to finish with that. It's already good. That's why, and the two-tone look, it allows you not to stain it or not to have to use walnut and maple, right? And once again, that took me 6 months to get that developed because it's food grade and it has the two-tone look and nobody else has it. And so a benefit of when you're using that kind of product is you're different because it's a different material. Even though you could cut that out of maple or cut that out of BAMCore, which one's going to sell faster, right? The maple one that's pretty boring, or the BAMCore one, or BAMX. Sorry, we had to change the name, BAMX. And so which one's better, maple or BAMX, right? Which one looked cooler? Because the customer cares about how good it looks. James, good point. So the downcut bit is always the loudest. Even a downcut rougher is going to be louder because it has to cut through the same chips that it already cut through if you're doing 2 passes. And if you're doing 1 pass, the shear angle of it going down is having a slight bit of vibration. And so downcut bits, like on the chip load calculator, I don't have a downcut versus upcut bit like calculation, but downcut bits you want to run slower than that upcut because they have a little bit more chatter and they have to recut the same dust or chips that they already cut. So great. That's next level. Like that is actually important to like understand that. Oh, BAMX, come on. Check it out on CSC Workshop. That's like, I don't have any over here. That's what we just cut out, but it's a two-tone material. And so it has this engineered top that is really dark and looks like walnut. And then we have this bamboo core on it and then the engineered bottom. And so whenever you pocket down 0.15 of an inch, it changes colors on you and it looks really nice. And you don't have to put this crazy finish on it. It's pretty stable.
Perfect for trays.
Yeah, trays are like the shiznit is what we call it. It's awesome. And they're getting ready. They're getting ready to do that wave wall. It's really cool what we're about to cut out over here while they're getting it ready. And guys, if you haven't, give us a thumbs up. Give it a thumbs up. Let us know like this is cool. Let us know this is cool because we'll keep doing these. Oh yeah, look at that bit. So that is an 1.5 ball nose bit or 1.5 box core with a 1/2 inch shank. So that's a 1/2 inch shank right there, guys. That bit is massive. I cannot the video is not doing it justice. So whenever y'all are ready, guys, give me a thumbs up and we'll do this. Let me actually show them on a Spire what it's going to look like real quick. Yeah, give me 10 seconds, Brandon. Let me show them real quick what it's going to look like. Let me see if I can bring it up. And yeah. And so let me open this so I can get it to y'all real quick. And so what this is going to look like, let me see if I can share my screen. Oop. Okay. So what this is going to look like, guys, is so this is all the program is. All it is a couple lines. And it looks like a couple lines, but I'm using a fluting toolpath. I'm using, where is it at? This fluting toolpath. And I have these little 6-inch or these 3-inch lines on here all connected. And so you can see all the starting points. And whenever you run it, what it's going to do, it's going to come in and out in a ramp fashion and do this. So it's really cool. And it's going to look really nice on that BAM core. And this is what you use for like whiskey cabinets and tables and conference tables and stuff like that on the side. And so what this toolpath looks like, I'm using a fluting toolpath, 1.5 ball nose, lower start depth, ramp start to end. Y'all can just maybe like pause this on the channel when y'all watch it tomorrow, if y'all watch it tomorrow. But yeah, and then I have these little lines like this that are, can't tell how big. I forgot when I programmed this. Yeah, they're 4 inches wide and they're just connected over that 2-inch or 2 foot by 2 foot panel. And it ends up making a really cool pattern. So that's just what I wanted to show y'all guys. So Brandon, we're ready to run, man. Let's see about it. All right, let's see here. And so it's doing, yeah, and like it's gonna take a little bit to get it going. So while it's running, we'll just, Charlie, I'll bring you back in. It gets really cool looking about the 1/2 inch mark. I mean, about the halfway mark, sorry.
Pretty cool bit there too, huh?
Yeah, that's a really cool bit. I don't even know what I paid for it. That bit's pretty old. I bought it like 5 years ago to be able to do this stuff and then never actually did it until now. And so I'm the typical woodworker. I found the shiny object. I bought the shiny object and then it collects dust. And then, you know, my spouse gets on me and they're like, what the hell? Why don't you use that? And it's like, oh, okay, now I'm using it. And look here, look how cool this looks. So yeah, it's just going down. It actually doesn't make a loud sound. And that vacuum table's holding down all this stuff, guys. And notice we put that tape around it. We don't have to, but it does help increase suction. And so we don't want another like slippage on live TV, if that as my niece and nephew would say, on live TV. And so that's why we're doing it. But it looks really cool once it gets into that second layer. And so like for y'all guys wanting to do a business out of, CNC and woodworking, be thinking of how, like, you just got to think a little bit outside the box. Because anything woodworking, like if you're just making something that, if you're selling it locally, it's okay. But like if you're trying to compete on a massive scale, like you have to think like unique products. So like, could you take this, put a sticky substance on the back, like a glue, and be able to make wall panels out of it? Or could you do this and put it on like a whiskey box, like let's say a concealment box, right? That hangs on the wall. And like, it looks awesome. Like this could be art. This could be functional. Like there's so many things it can do. And so you just got to be thinking that way. And that's what I do. It's like, it's not about like, it's about how do I improve the value of whatever I'm doing the most. And so like, what do I need to do to create the most value for my customer that I'm targeting? I mean, look how cool it looks. So like, and this panel is like, this band core is like $40, but like when you cut it out and do that to it, like that's no longer a $40 piece of material, right? And then depending what you put it on, or if you just make a giant wall spread and you turn them every which way, or you make your own pattern, it's cool. Like nobody has that. Nobody can do that. And what's really cool about this is it's CNC specific. And so you can't do that with a laser engraver. You can't do that if you have a vinyl printer, right? You can only do that if you have access to a CNC and access to a unique material that nobody else has. And so that's the mindset you got to get in, is how do I make this different than everybody else? How do I make it 10% better?
Hey, Jason was wondering about what the top and bottom are made of.
So it's actually bamboo as well. But what they do, they take bamboo and they like pretty much strand it out into fibers. And they put and I eventually got them to put a food grade like resin on it. And they kind of glue it all back together in those same like strand patterns. Yeah. And so it has that 0.15 top layer and that 0.15 bottom layer. And then there's bamboo on the core, but they take fibrous bamboo and they expand it out and then they oxidize it in the sun. And so it's called carbonizing. And so they carbonize it in the sun. This is what they do. It's crazy. And they glue it all back together, make it in sheet form, put it on top, and then laminate it back to the core. And then you get that dark color that's been carbonized and oxidized, and with that lighter interior. It's a freaking process. I've studied this for months and months and months and worked with them, and it's crazy, but it's really cool.
I just linked it in the chat for you guys as well if you want to check it out. Direct link to the page. Got some good pictures on there.
Yeah. I don't have any pictures like this, but it's cool, right? Like it looks like another thing to make out of this is those deviled egg holders, or those egg holders that everybody sees, right? And a lot of people do those and it like holds eggs on the farm, or deviled egg holder, but nobody has this material. And so you can make this same thing, that deviled egg holder, out of wood that everybody makes, but make it out of something like Bamcore or whatever cool material you have. And guess what? Like yours is now different than 99% of everybody else's. And so you have a unique selling proposition that you can then offer the customer market. And because it looks cool, all right, and because it looks cool, you are selling it, right? Like that two-tone look is awesome. And you don't have to do any staining. And that's why I do this stuff. Like I could never show you all this and make my own products with it and make a killing. Like that, and that's the long and short of it. But I don't, because this shit's cool, and I want everybody to succeed, because like I want to have the I want to be the rising tide that lifts all ships. Like that's why I'm put on this earth. That's what I'm trying to do. And I guarantee it's woodworking, and it's like, but like this is why I'm doing. This is why I'm showing you. Like once again, could I do that and beat a lot of people with my industrial shop and all that? Like yeah, but I'm not. I want y'all to succeed. I mean that.
Abundance mentality.
Yeah, I mean that, guys. But look how cool that looks. It's sick. It is sick.
We've also got a picture of an American flag.
Oh yeah,
that
yeah,
link that I
yeah.
sent
And so
in the
you can
chat.
you
You guys wanna
can
check
have an
that out.
American flag and like do the stars and the stripes, and it looks awesome.
Yeah, that was the skee ball table video as well.
Yeah,
Got
yeah,
a picture of that.
yeah. And this is just a fluting toolpath, and like you can get creative with it and do different patterns, do different ball nose bits. But like this thing is sick. It is really sick. Elon Musk of woodworking. Yeah. Yeah. Well, traveling to space pays a little bit better. I will be honest there. Yeah, he's much smarter than wiser than me. But I bet you he couldn't build a table. He can build spaceships, but he could not build a table. Guarantee you that. That's great. That's not a weird question. I don't have a physical storefront. I'm in the middle of the country. I want to build one. I haven't did a cost analysis on it yet. I want to build one, and it's gonna be like my customer service girl, Natalia. She would run that, and then also do customer service for like the online messages and stuff. But where I'm at right now, I don't have the ability to expand. But it is something I'm looking at. But it's more of a pickup point instead of having people walk into our shop and we have to like say, hey, like don't go towards the CNCs. They're dangerous. Don't do that. Right? Like that's where the storefront comes into play. But I don't think there'd be enough traffic to technically make it worth it yet for me because I live so far out of town. I mean, I'm literally in the middle of a hayfield doing my thing. And I live right behind it. And it's kind of weird. But yeah.
We touched on this before, but good question.
No, I mean, I would. So I'm going to put it through my flap sander. We're going to flap sand it. And if Brandon's listening, hopefully they go over there to the flap sander and actually show you how we'd sand it. And like, this is in my shop, but you can do it, different ways in your shop. And then we would put either Osmocoat, maybe a clear coat. If it's going on wall paneling, you might put a clear coat on it since it's wall paneling. But, I'm talking about flap sanding the wall panel, but either one works. But yeah, and so I wouldn't put any stain on it. It doesn't need it. It's already two-tone. And so we just put it on this flap sander like this, turn on the dust collector, and we would just take that tray and sand it down. And this is what we do in our shop. And like most of y'all don't have one of these, but understanding that other people have this is like half of it. And so understanding this, that when you're designing a product, is there a faster way to do this? If I ever get to the point where I can afford it, yes. And then you do the math and think about how many products do I have to produce in order to afford this machine and make it worth it? And I did that math. Like I just did, my last video flopped on YouTube. It's called it's like vacuum table. Is it worth it? Something like that. But I go over the math on how I look at upgrades. And it's just a simple math problem. And so it's sanded. It's nice. Maybe a little bit of tear out, but we'll clean it up. But yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. And so they're going to take that wall panel over to the flap sander and sand it down. But yeah, I wouldn't put any finish on it. No stain or anything like that needed. So it just finished up. It looks really sick. Not going to lie. That's so cool. I still get they're literally 50 feet away from me in the shop, but that is awesome. That thing looks sick. Yeah, James, come on down. Come on down. I'm not shy. Come on down. We'll give you a tour of the shop, show you around. If you have any questions, we'll let you know. Rose Sharon's not too far away. I go through there going to Angleton all the time. My Brandon, who's actually running the camera right now, he's from Angleton or moved to Angleton. And I convinced him to move back down to the shop. And there's Vincent. He's actually the shop foreman. And so they're flap sanding real quick. And so we just sand this whole entire panel like this, like that on the flap sander. And it's going to make that thing I wish y'all can feel this. It's going to be so buttery smooth whenever it comes off of that sander. It's going to be so buttery smooth. and show it off, and they're going to try each side. It's really cool. So this sander was like $7,000, I think, when I bought it. And it's been the most bang for my buck machine, besides my CNCs, the most bang for my buck machine. And it's baby smooth at this point. We have 150 and 180 grit on that flap sander, and it just made it just beautiful. Beautiful. Columbia SC Real Estate, yes, just come. If you need some band cord, if you need materials, like if you need walnut or something like that, I'd buy it by the 18-wheeler load. And so, like, if any of y'all are close to me and want really good prices on maple, cherry, or walnut, or red oak, or plywood, I get it by the 18-wheeler load. So even if I mark it up a little bit and sell it to you, it's still going to be probably 30% cheaper than you can get it anywhere else. So I'll make a little bit on it, but like you're going to save a lot of money. Just come and pick it up, right? Like, I got you. I got you, fam. I got you. Cool. Brandon, show your face if you want to. Give us a thumbs up. Everybody, tell Brandon he's kind of there. You know, he's a video illiterate, but it's okay. Look at that. So Brandon's been running he's the shop foreman. He's been doing Brandon, squat down. Then we can see you. Brandon and Vincent right there. And so Vincent on the right is our shop foreman, and Brandon is our head of operations. Y'all saw him on the last live stream. I really hope you guys like that. Brandon on the left is my brother in the maroon shirt. Vincent is my first cousin, and we're all going to live on the ranch together one day. And I really appreciate them. Yeah, shooting dove, all that good stuff. So, Brandon, really appreciate it. Guys, we're going to take the last questions, and we have about 10 more minutes of questions, and we're going to end. And thank you so much. Vince, Brandon, give us a big thumbs up. Vince, thumbs up. Yeah. All right. Thanks, guys. Charlie, I'm going to add you back on. Take them off.
Perfect.
Oh, so they both have flip-flops. Yeah. So we're a flip-flop shorts and Hawaiian shirt family. I just have to do this for y'all guys. But we're definitely a chillaxed, we have a Coors Light after work kind of a vibe here, or a whiskey, depending on if I'm doing a live stream or not. But yeah. Great question. So as far as I know, Don, I'm the only one that sells this on the market that's available. And so you can just find it at cscworkshop.com. You can find it there. That's where it's at. And if you need if y'all ever need specific cuts or full sheets or an 18-wheeler load, something like that, let me know. I'll work with y'all guys. I just want y'all to be successful. I just have to put stuff on the website and certain sheet sizes because, 2 foot by 2 foot, 2 foot by 3 foot, those sizes are pretty standard. But if you need different unique cuts or anything cut out from it, just let us know. I'll help you out.
We could quote an LTL load.
Yeah. We've done that. We've had people buy pallets of it and they make stuff and they're succeeding, and that's cool. Hey, wait. I have let's go, Brent. Way to go. Yep. You're from Texas. Love it. I can get it requested in 1/2 inch. Let me get back in focus. I can get it in 1/2 inch. Give me 3 months. I just didn't have that big of a need for it yet. I thought 3/4 inch would be the best universal size. And when I order this stuff and get it shipped in, I have to order, 1,000 sheets at a time. And so let me know in the chat if you think, if there's a big enough need for a 1/2 inch version, that way, y'all can make different products with it. Let me know. Whatever can help y'all guys out, I'll do.
Yep. We got one more here.
So ramping, perfect. That is a great question. 95% of the time I'm ramping, and my ramp length is twice the depth of cut. And so if I'm cutting a 1/4 inch deep, I'll ramp a 1/2 inch ramp. That way it's going at a 45-degree angle. That's what I do. Is it perfectly correct? I don't know. That's what I do in my industrial shop, and my bits don't break and my machines last a long time. So if you're cutting with an 1/8 inch bit and you're going an 1/8 inch down, have a 1/4 inch ramp. 1/2 inch bit, 1 inch down, use a 2 inch ramp, right? You want to go twice the depth of cut for your ramp, so it's a 45-degree angle. And the plunge rate is half of the feed rate. And so your ramp is half the speed of your feed rate and twice the depth of cut. I should make a YouTube video over that. God, I could have got some views on that. Aquavite, messaging is late. He's going to have to rewatch it. He actually has an amazing YouTube channel. This guy can design some crazy stuff. He's actually the reason, or he beat me to the punch of the skee ball table that I designed. But check out his YouTube channel. He does a great job. And he has a baby on the way. Very soon due, if I'm not mistaken. So good luck, Aquavite, and keep up the good work, man. He just did a video a couple days ago as well with a cool little thing that he made, a towel holder, if I'm not mistaken. And so he has some really cool products, some really cool plans. So check him out, guys. He's a cool guy. And he has a baby on the way. So never too late to make that video. It's never. I might. Doesn't get a lot of views, but I might make that video. Right here, I want to answer that question. Saw someone say the plunge is the same as feed when trying to cut. I don't know what's right or wrong. I just know what works for me. So like and it's simple and it's easy to teach. Plunge at half the rate of your feed, and then make the plunge rate twice the depth of cut. It's very easy to remember, and it works. And I run literally what I have $500,000 of CNC machines on that same methodology. So I'm not saying the other one's right or wrong. I'm just saying this is what works for me. And yeah, that's what works for me. Yes. So we're launching CSC Academy next Wednesday, and we're going to do a live stream next Thursday. So the live stream next week will only be on CSC Academy, and it's not going to be on YouTube as a whole. And so it's only going to be on CSC Academy for all the champions that are going to – it's going to be more business oriented. I hope to get more technical. I hope to show more machines like this. And, yeah, so it's going to be next week for founders only. Founders get a discount. Y'all get access to other stuff that other people won't get. Y'all going to help me tweak stuff. Y'all are going to get – I'm going to be all up in y'all's jazz. We're going to be asking all kinds of questions, trying to make this course in the community the premier course and community for CNCs, CNC business on the planet. That's the goal. We want to help as many people as possible. So the founders are going to allow me to do that. We're going to ask questions. We're going to grow business. We're all going to make money, and or just enjoy what we do for a living, and maybe drink a little bit of bourbon.
And this is going to be an example of a great question that we're going to focus on answering in the course.
What's the best way to get in
It's,
customers for small woodworking products for someone starting today? The best advice I can give Chamber Site is, and this took me like literally 10 years to learn, define what customer you are targeting. I'm going to say it again. Know who the hell you're looking to buy your product, and then make something for that person. Don't overcomplicate it. Like if you're targeting the wedding industry, target the bride and what the hell does she want? If you're targeting the whiskey drinker, right? What do they want? Do they want a whiskey smoker? What kind of whiskey smoker do they want? Do they want a decanter set? Do they want something to hold their favorite bottle and mount it on the wall? Understanding what your customer wants is first and foremost, and then you design a product for that customer. And then whenever you design that product and prototype it, they buy it, and then all of a sudden they like it. Why? Because you designed it for them. It's not some random person. It's not like I'm making this little kosher that I made this when I was 16, right? And you make it and like, this is cool. I hope somebody buys it one day. Like that's how most woodworkers are. Like, this looks awesome. I really hope somebody buys it. Don't do that. It's like, This right here is for people that freaking love checkers. And I'm targeting people that play checkers. And they play checkers or chess, and they play it so much that they want a cup coaster that looks like a chess board, right? That's a better way of looking at it than just randomly making something that's cool because you think it's cool. Your customers don't think it's cool. So you have to find the customers that think something is cool and make that cool product for them. And this is probably the most valuable lesson in this live stream is that question right there. And this took me so freaking long to learn. This took me so long. Never make what you think is cool. Make what the hell a customer wants. If you don't know what the customer wants, then you don't have your customers defined. And so you need to sit down with a pencil and a piece of paper and figure out what the hell your customer wants, who you are targeting, and then make stuff for them. When I made the piggy bank, I said, you know what, that's a cool product, but who am I targeting? I'm going to target newborn babies and 1-year-olds. And so I'm targeting kids that are newborn. So it's a baptism gift, a newborn gift, a gender neutral gift. And then I am targeting 1-year-olds. So 1-year-old birthday gifts. And I am making my product towards that. So I'm targeting moms that are 24 to 35 years old that have this amount of income that can buy this product. And how do I tweak that product to target that customer base? How does my marketing need to look to appeal to that customer base? Do not try to make everything for everybody because that's what everybody else is trying to do. And that's why they're not making money. That's the facts. That is so hard to comprehend, but so easy to implement. Hope that answered your question. I get fired up about that because it's going to help a lot of people. Thank you for that question. Thank you.
There's a saying, it's the riches are in the niches, right? So you guys trying to sell stuff online, you've got to identify just the deeper you can go, the better, right? Because then you get so specific with your customer avatar, especially in the e-commerce and Amazon world. Like, you know, we start with the keywords and figuring out what people are searching for, what products, you know, what type of volume is going to what type of keywords, and then we can kind of reverse engineer products from that. But you gotta be able to target and build out the person on a very detailed level.
Yeah, and the more you know about the person, the better off you are. And they're saying they're in the hill country, right, in wino territory. And so what you do there, this is really cool because I've always wanted to do this. And so here you go. You create clipboards for vineyards, okay? And then you create charcuterie boards that vineyards take with their logo on it, like Fat Ass Winery. So if you're in the hill country, that's like, I think Fat Ass is a big one over there, okay? And so you put their little donkey on a logo and you put that on a charcuterie board and you design the charcuterie board to be able to really show off their logo. And then you make clipboards with their logo on it. So whenever they go to a customer, present them with the wine menu, which is typically 5x12, you make a 6x13 clipboard that holds the wine menu. And then you do that. And so you have now the check presenter, the menu board, and the charcuterie board that they're using. And then you make a wine tote that they can bring out wine glasses with their logo on it. And then what you do, you put your brand on the back of all those products that says, you know, I don't know, don't put your name as Columbia Woodworks. Don't do that, right? Put it as, you know, Winos Woodworks, or like Winos Unlimited, something that's very specific to the product you are targeting, right? Like the best clipboards in the world. I don't care what you do, just make it something, a brand that they recognize you for, okay? And so then all the customers, all the winos that you are targeting drink that, they look at it like, who makes this? And then they go on your site and you know what they see? Stuff for wine drinkers, right? And then they buy from you because they saw your products at that vineyard. And then there's like 100 vineyards in that area. And so you meet and shake the person's hand and go to that vineyard and say, here's a clipboard with your menu, with your logo on it and your name, Cecilia, because you run this thing and you're the person that's in charge of the buying decisions. Here's one for you. Here's a little gift for your kids because I Facebook stalked you and you have two kids. And so I'm making something for those two kids. So you like me. And then hopefully you put my products in your store. They end up buying from you. You know, you strike out a couple times, but they end up buying from you, and then you grow. And it takes a long time to do that. But nobody else can take that from you because you grew it on a relationship-based product. Yeah, that's how I do that. That's how I do
Makes
that.
sense.
Yep.
It's just kind of a
Guys, you have another video about how you really need farmers market, but I can't get traction online. Oh my gosh. So I have 2 videos on this on CNC Academy where I break it down and what I would do instead of farmers markets. And so don't think all is lost. It's a 30-minute video, so I can't like describe it here. But it depends. I think there's another level above farmers markets that's better for starters, so you don't waste your time at farmers markets. But if you need to do a farmers markets to get your feet wet, to understand what it looks like, maybe you're not confident on talking to customers, go there, and then you can go to these other markets that are bigger. And they're not very much bigger than farmers markets, but they have a lot better return on investment than them because you're already killing a weekend with farmers markets. If you kill a weekend with this other stuff, you have a higher chance of success. But that's one of the sales channels that I covered on CSE Academy.
There's also a ton of different ways, hacks, strategies on how to drive more impressions to your listings. SEO, I mean, that's a rabbit hole, right? All of the platforms have their specific algorithms that you're having to battle, and you know, just following best practices on these platforms and just staying compliant is more than 90% of the people are doing. So,
and
you know,
I got one more. I'm going to take this last question, and then we're going to be this guy, Bob. What's your single best advice for someone who's just starting their CNC journey? 1, subscribe. 2, check out CNC Academy. It's going to help. But overall, do not focus. You should be focused on sales 90% of the time, right? And if you just started your CNC journey, you need to be using that CNC to make products, okay? Do not be scared to break bits. Do not be scared to run too fast. You better be learning a lot. You better be trying to get good at CNC machining. It is not just an instant thing. You have a 3-month learning curve when you first start off, but that's okay because anybody who has a CNC has been through that journey too. I'm on a 10-year learning curve right now. And so you want to use it as much as possible, experiment as much as possible to build that pyramid of knowledge, that base of that pyramid, so you can grow. And the top of the pyramid is like mastery and money making, but you have to build that base of CNC fundamentals. And that's why that's module 2 in the academy. Module 1 is mindset. Module 2 is CNC fundamentals. And then it's what customer do I need to focus on? Then it's how do I sell that product? And then it's how do I run a business? But you have to start with that deck of CNC fundamentals and then slowly progress above the ranks. So if you're just starting off, learn and master that CNC. Watch as many videos as possible with people giving the right advice. And then always don't think about tweaking the program to make it just a little bit better. Think about how you can make something so valuable that people want to buy it. That is so key because you're going to want to make all these gadgets and gizmos. You're going to want to do 3D models, all that stuff. It may sell, it may not. Depends who you're targeting. But you want to make sure that you define your customer base and you make something they want to buy. And that's the key. So once you learn, make something your customer wants, and then everything else starts flowing in because you are selling product. And everything else is like 100 times easier when you start to sell stuff because you're running your CNC more, you learn, and you're also making money. And then you're loving what you do, right? Like that's exciting. That's exciting. That's the dream, right? If you're trying to make everything for everybody, you'll end up hating it because you are doing all these odds and end projects. Everybody is making you, they're price gouging you. Family members come and ask for a family discount and you end up not making any money. So don't do that. You want to learn the CNC basics, right? And you could make other stuff for other people when you're learning, But when you want to start making money, you hone in on one product, you hone in on one sales channel, on one customer base, and you start making money, and then you start enjoying it and having it fun and loving your CNC journey. But it takes a long time. It's not instant, but it's amazing. I've done it. I've done it with every level of CNC, and I freaking love it. I love it. So guys, thank y'all guys so much for tuning in. This has been an amazing live stream. This is my best one. I'm actually emotional. It's almost been 2 hours. This is amazing, guys. Thank you so much. Check out CSC Academy. Check out the Gold Digger Bits. Much love. Peace.